Okay, right, I believe we're ready to go. So good morning everyone, and thank you for joining our webinar, which is titled Are you managing your Oracle system, as in JD Edwards, or is it managing you? My name is Alan Kerr and I'm the Commercial Director for Velos IT. If as I'm going through this presentation you've got any questions, please use the chat facility which should be available on the right hand side of your screen within the box for the webinar tool that we're using. While the intent, as with just about all webinars, is to ultimately make some sales, we've tried to make this more about what IT organisations should be doing to help manage your systems, regardless of actually who's doing it, either the internal IT department or an external service provider. So we're going to start by looking at typical types of JDE support problems that we see being experienced by many customers when we first start talking to them. All the issues don't necessarily apply to all the customers that we have, but you can generally pick and choose ones which ring a bell maybe in your organisation. Over 75% of all system downtime is usually caused by human error. In other words, someone in your IT department making a mistake. So a key focus should be on how you address this. We see lots of company IT departments focusing time on sexy new technology and not giving enough time to the more mundane business as usual processes. It also surprises how often when we go into companies they're dependent on what we call the internal hero. A single individual who controls and knows everything and is reluctant to give up his knowledge and reduce their influence. Even if you try to bring in new processes and controls, they see this as a threat to them and basically work against it. If this has described your organisation, then you need to address and fix this, as they're basically a disaster waiting to happen. You then generally have the issue of not enough of the right kind of skills. IT systems are becoming more and more complex, and it's becoming almost an impossible challenge for smaller IT departments to have the right level of skills across the board, which means, through no fault of your own, that your limited number of staff start to become generalists rather than experts. So unintentional mistakes happen because your staff don't have the detailed knowledge necessary to support the growing complexity of your systems. Also, if they're only supporting the one system, more often than not, the issues they're dealing with will be brand new to them. Even if they have had the issue before, most companies don't have a good system for tracking back to see what the fix was that was put in place the last time. The fact that the problem has occurred again also means that they've probably been too busy firefighting to have had the time to put a full and proper resolution in place that would have stopped the problem happening again. This is made worse by the fact that your JDE system operates 24/7, even although your business might not. So not only do you not have enough staff with detailed skills and experience, you probably struggle to get them to work out of hours, and hence you end up with first thing in the morning system problems. All of which leads to you missing your SLAs, service level agreements, even if you have an SLA. Well, some companies do have internal SLAs. They really don't have any teeth. You can't put charges against them, etc. That make sense, and as such, they're possibly a waste of time. So, lots of areas for potential problems, and then you're generally being asked to do more with less. If you can do more with less without changing something fundamental, then I'd suggest you may have been doing a poor job up until now. I also remember a few years ago when I was the European IT director for a large multinational, arguing that I was happy to do less with less, but more with less wasn't achievable. I was forced, to use the American phrase, to think outside the box, and made some fundamental changes which resulted in significant savings and improved systems performance. Gartner's also been saying for years that the best IT departments are the ones that are involved in leadership within the company. They're not just technical IT plumbers who occasionally become volunteer firemen putting out technical fires. If you're not adding value to your company and helping it move forward, then again, I'd suggest you're not doing the best for your company. Now, if that describes you or any components describe your organization, then the good news is you're not alone. We see lots of people with this. And you know, just many companies continue to be in the same situation. So, why should you listen to what Velos IT have to say in this matter? Well, the bottom line is that we've got a track record of working with some blue chip customers, most of whom have had a selection of these types of problems before we've become involved, and we've subsequently provided fixes for them, and we'll show some of those. These are just some of the customers we provide a variety of services to. You may recognize some of the names. Generally, the bigger the company, the more services we provide. C&C, for example, own Tennent's Caledonian Breweries, Magners and Gamers Ciders. Element 6 is part of the De Beer Diamond Company. Wolseley own the Bath Centre, Drain Centre, Plumb Centre. And Velos IT provide a variety of different multi-year managed services to these customers. This chart represents the Priority 1 and Priority 2 SLA charts for one of our major customers. As part of the service take-on that we did, we had to load their existing incident ticket information into our system. One of the benefits of this to us was that we could then compare the service before we took it on and after when we were providing the service. The results are fairly typical of what we experience in that once we've implemented our processes and controls, it takes about 1 month for the impact to take effect. So you can see that when we took the service on, and this one as of the 1st of May results were similar to April, but from June onwards there was a significant performance improvement. From a budgetary point of view, again, this chart's based on some real figures and shows the impact we had on this one customer. To be fair, this is probably the most extreme saving that we've achieved, and it was achieved through a number of changes, including changing the staff resource model and full hardware architecture refresh. Well, I haven't put the scale on the left-hand side. The savings to them were in the hundreds of thousands of pounds. Fairly big customer. So, the $64 million question is, how do you achieve system stability? In other words, how do you gain control of your JDE system? Well, the reality is that in our experience, there's no single silver bullet. It's more a combination of doing several things right that starts to deliver the benefits. Process management is a key feature. Having a process flow for everything you do that's easy to follow and understand, and hence it's actually used. The process flow hyperlinks to other documents that makes the employee's job easier, and hence they actually want to use the process documentation. And in this example, the green comments and orange boxes in this process are hyperlinks to other processes or relevant forms of documentation associated with this process. Sorry, I jumped ahead a slide too quickly there. This should be a key review component for when anything does go wrong. Where did the process let us down? What needs to be changed so it doesn't happen again? Then the process is updated and it's agreed with everyone that the new process will address the issue that we've experienced. It's a model to help ensure that processes are carried out the same way each time. And as we discussed earlier, it's a key component in the fight against the hero environment. Making them give up and share their knowledge. A knowledge management system with a good history is another major benefit, where every issue is tracked and the fix logged and is easily identified if it happens again. This is a key benefit to someone like Velos IT, where an incident happens with one customer and we've then got a quick fix for other customers. Other processes such as risk assessment should be carried out to identify where there might be weaknesses and what the potential impact could be. Obviously, you then need to follow up with these issues and put the necessary corrective actions in place, which then brings you on to change management and having a structured process in place that ensures appropriate tests are being carried out, backups put in place, and all the system owners are happy with the changes being implemented. Another feature that we believe is key to system stability is automation. If it can be automated, then automate it. Take the human out of the equation. If you can't automate it, then place controls around it. VelosIT have a concept of a thing called an activity ticket, which basically ensures that if a human has to do something, then an activity ticket is logged within our system. It's then allocated to an individual who carries out the activity, and they then sign it off to say it's been done, and this is all managed within an SLA. We also recommend using open source tools to supplement the automation and help improve the stability of your system. We focused on open source mainly as they're free and can deliver virtually all the functionality of the more expensive supplier tools. Examples of this include tools such as Nagios and Cacti. We've also, over the years, built our own specific JDE modules for these tools, which have further automated the monitoring and management that we can achieve within this system. As with any system, you're far better to go with a tried and tested solution rather than starting from scratch. Automation and monitoring tools are as much a system as your JDE Edwards system is. They're complex to understand and manage, and probably need yet another set of technical skills over and above all the other skills you need. They are what they say they are. They're tools with which you have to develop monitoring systems that deliver your benefits. The VelosIT monitoring system has already been bespoke to work with several JDE systems and can be easily modified to fit any other JDE system. Systems integration is also key. Having your monitoring system integrated with your JDE Edwards system and other systems, and then integrated into your service desk system, means communication is faster and more accurate and reduces the number and severity of the issues that you experience. This integration should also include the production of service review reports showing how your system has performed. These reports should then be used as the key input to analysing issue trends and putting in place the necessary projects to address and fix these. This is a typical report from our monthly report pack for one of our customers, which over the month shows big improvements in application and server-related incidents. So in other words, what we're looking at here is using the tools to achieve constant improvement. As highlighted at the beginning, you also need to keep a close track on your staff levels and ensuring you've got the right mix of skills. One of the benefits of using a service provider in this area is that you can time share key resources such as CNC or DBA resources so that they're available as and when you need them, and they have a prior knowledge of your system. This is our current resourcing model, and you can see that with some flexibility around our JDE Edwards resource, with about an existing 20% of existing capacity available in that space, more in the click view area, for example. You also need to keep a track of your hardware capacity, and again, this is an example of our current multi-tenant hardware platform, which we have that's currently being used by a number of our JDE Edwards customers. The blue bit is the full capacity of the frames that we have. The maroon is the current installed capacity, and the cream is the current usage. So you can see there's lots of capacity available within this framework. As I mentioned earlier, you also don't want to be the first penguin off the technology iceberg. Although a slightly unusual phrase, it was used by an IBM salesperson to me a number of years ago when I thought I was too near the bleeding edge of technology. As a single company, any new technology, or in fact any new application, is a bit like, implementing that is a bit like being the first penguin off the iceberg, as it's all new to you, and you don't know what the problems there might be just below the water. In other words, it can be a good idea to work with a partner who knows your systems, already implemented any new technology or application changes that you're planning. So, if some or all of that, what I've been talking about applies to you, what can you do about it? One option is to reinvent the wheel and build all the process and automation yourself, which is probably unlikely to happen as you're too busy firefighting anyway, and you don't have the time, and you don't have the people, and possibly you don't have the cultural capability as well. Alternatively, you can work with a partner who helps you to gain control, and if you're going to do that, you should be looking for a partner who can deliver process control and management from a library of templates, who also has an integrated monitoring and management system that's been developed over a number of years around JDE Edwards and can be easily modified to fit your system, and can supply you with the necessary skills and leadership to implement all of this into your organization, and who coincidentally are already working 24/7 and supporting a broad range of other customers running the same system. From a Velos IT perspective, we've got a number of different models that we can use to support our customers. We can operate a book of tickets where you can buy a set number of tickets of support from us on an annual basis. This doesn't do a lot to help you with your processes, but it does give you, as and when needed, access to a pool of JDE and technical stack experts who can provide assistance as and when needed. For unlike third-party contractors, these experts have an existing and growing knowledge of your environment. Excuse me. We can also provide a resource-based model, provide additional resource as and when you need it, but is based on a discounted day rate, again with a growing knowledge of your JDE Edwards environment. We can add a monitoring-only service, although we normally link this as a minimum to the additional resource-based model. Then we move up to the full support. We can provide full remote support to your entire JDE Edwards system, hosted within your environment. And we can also add a DR capability to this as well. Or we can provide your own private hardware solution from our data centers, including DR, on an on-demand basis for Velos IT, own the hardware, and provide you with a full end-to-end service. However, what's becoming of more interest to our customers is our multi-tenant hardware platform that again comes with a full managed service, but it's at a significantly reduced price. So we believe, as do our customers that are working with Velos IT, that we add value and reduce costs. Your internal IT managers and teams spend less time firefighting, and less time being the technical plumbers and more time being the internal consultant to the business and adding value that they should be adding. And with that, we're finished our quick whistle-stop tour, and now let me have a look to see if there are any questions. Okay, we've got a couple of questions here. First one is, okay, what level of contract resource do you use? Well, virtually we're 100% full-time employees, as our pricing model doesn't allow for the high cost of contract resource. We do have, out of almost 100 staff at the moment, I think we've got one contractor working with us just now, and he's in there working with us in the quick view space, where we're seeing a lot of development in that space. Okay, next question. What duration are your contracts normally for? Well, minimum for a managed service would typically be about 12 months. If however, there was a Velos IT hardware investment component in there, where you're actually running it on your JDE Edwards system on Velos IT owned hardware, then typically we'd be looking at about 3 years for that. Okay, yeah, I should have expected this one. What are your typical daily rates? This can vary a lot depending on the size of the contract and the skills required. But we do believe, however, that our rates are, and most of our customers have agreed with this, are amongst, if not the best in the industry. So let me just have another wee quick check. No, that's the end of the questions. We said we would be done in half an hour, 20 minutes, half an hour, which is what we've managed to achieve. And sorry, I realised my screen's changed a wee bit. So that was doing the question Q&As. And finally, if you want to get in touch with us, we'll leave this information up on the screen for a few more minutes if you want more information than what we've discussed. We've also been recording this session, and we'll have it up on our website within the next few days if you want to have a refresher on it. So again, thank you very much for your time, and that's us finished for today. Thank you.